Hi guys, and welcome back to Movies That Matter with the Viking. I just finished watching STARGIRL. Now, STARGIRL is this show that was created for the DC Universe app and then was later moved to CW, and that's where it's going to be. That's going to be its home, basically, going forward. Now, STARGIRL gets a lot of controversy right off the bat because the character was created by Jeff Johns. Jeff Johns is a showrunner, a writer on this show, so that people are like, don't watch it. We hate Jeff Johns and all that stuff. And I'll get to that in a few minutes, but let me talk about the show first. The show is about 13 episodes. Okay, what was I expecting? I was expecting a kind of a CW level show. You know, I wasn't expecting the darkness and the characters like Swamp Thing, which I love, like Titans, that kind of darker tone of characters, kind of gritty and stuff like that. I was expecting more of a family-friendly show, and that's what I got. But I didn't get what I was expecting in terms of CW. This is a very, very high-budget show. They put a lot of effort into this show. They cast some very big actors, and the kids that they brought in as well did a very, very, very good job and were very likable. Now, STARGIRL is about the Justice Society of America and about that team, but this follows kind of the next generation of that team. And look, the opening scene of this show is very high budget. There's a big action scene that happens. You don't even get to see who any of the characters are yet. You just drive into this big action scene and shit's about to go down. You have Luke Wilson, which I love, you know him from old school and comedy films like that. He's driving this car heading to this mansion where the Justice Society of America are at, and they're being attacked by the bad guys, the villains. And things don't go as planned. Things go pretty bad. And, you know, right off the start, shit happens where people die, and if you haven't seen it yet, I don't want to spoil it too much, but the characters we meet in the first few seconds aren't the characters we meet for the entire series. This is about the next generation of the Justice Society of America, teenagers taking up the mantle of the old team, the costumes, the powers and all that stuff. But basically, I was expecting a CW level show in terms of flash, the cheesiness, the budget, the effects not that good, the CGI not that good. I can't really fault this show in terms of special effects. CGI done very well, action done very well, and it's not like they do one big action piece in the first episode in the pilot, and then you don't get to see another big one until 5 or 6, and then a big one for the finale. No, there's a lot of action throughout this season. Episode 1, 2, 3, right off the bat, it brings you in. You get to familiarise yourself with these characters, and everyone does a good job. And we follow Courtney, played by Breck Bassiner. She plays STARGIRL, and she does a very good job. Very likeable character, and I think her chemistry with the rest of the cast was very, very good. Especially Luke Wilson, which is playing her stepfather. Of course, at the start, there's a bit controversy between the two of them because stepfather and they're not my father and all that stuff. But the bond that they have, the chemistry they have, really carries throughout this whole entire series, and you feel for the characters, and it makes you feel like that you'd want that connection in your own life if you don't have a father figure like that in your own life. It makes you kind of want that if you never had it. Amy Smart, of course, plays Courtney's mother, STARGIRL's mother. She does a good job, very likeable. You know her from great comedies as well. But the casting for this entire thing was very good. I liked all the characters, and there's some good humor. It's not a complete humor comedy fest. No, it has its deep moments. That father element is there throughout the entire series. That lack of a father figure for Courtney with her father, she never knew who her father was. Luke Wilson's kind of taken over that role. You know, it has a lot to do with loss, with debt, with not fitting in, and it brings in some kind of things that teenagers today and throughout, since social media has come into things, people deal with. You know, people send images to the people that they think they love, and stuff gets out, and stories are made up, and things like that happens every day in high schools, in colleges. Rumors get out, and that plays a big part in this show also. So each character has kind of elements that everybody, no matter who you are watching the show, you can actually get a connection with these characters, because I guarantee you, of the main characters that are in the Justice Society of America, at least one of them you can relate to, and I think the show does a really, really good job in that. I will say the villains in the show are very, very cheesy and very, very kind of mustache villains, and this is what I will do, and I've got this big elaborate plan that's going to go off on this day. That's a bit cheesy and that's a bit CW, but it kind of works. The villains are cheesy, But I don't know how, because the heroes are these teenagers, and they're not as cheesy as the villains, but somehow the two of them playing off each other, it works very, very well. You know, the costumes are completely cheesy, very comic book-esque. You see a lot of live action films, especially the MCU, where the costumes aren't the same as the comic books, because then you think if you did actually use that, it would look ridiculous. And that kind of happens in this show. Some of the costumes are ridiculous, but it doesn't take me out of it. Especially even Stargirl's costume, bit cheesy. There's a character, kind of Dr. Chow, I think, or Doctor I forget his name right now. He's a villain. His costume's very cheesy as well, but it works to some degree, and the villains do have this cheesiness to it. But what I do like about the villains is we're given a backstory on basically all of them, on what they're like as people, their families. They have families as well, which kind of makes you kind of look at them in a different light. They're cheesy, but they're also have this element to them that you can see where they're coming from, and that they've always kind of had this this thing in their life that has driven them to be the person they are today. Much like the Justice Society of America, the things that's happened in their life has pushed them to be good. It's all about perspective and where you come from. Now, what was my favourite part of the whole entire show? Well, I think my favourite part of the show was the element between Luke Wilson and his son. Now, Luke Wilson, I love Luke Wilson. I love Owen Wilson, I love Ben Stiller, I love all those great comedians. I grew up watching all those films. I watch them today and I love seeing them in new things. But Luke Wilson's comedy in this film isn't over the top. It isn't. It's very kind of, it's just there. It's like he's not playing with it, but he is playing with it. And his son in the show, his biological son, their chemistry, their comedy is very, very funny. There's a great use of music actually in the show as well, and I'm sure that was expensive enough because there's a lot of popular songs from today and then and a few years ago, and they use that kind of at the start of episodes and at the end of episodes, and it fits. It's not just I like when music is brought into films and TV. I really do. It's a way for me to discover new music, and I think if it fits the scene, then it fits the scene and it works really, really well. So the music was done very well. Overall, Stargirl for 13 episodes. It's fun, it's action-packed, it's not cheesy in the way that you think the CW is. It very much takes itself serious, but it has that kind of essence where it wants to be family-friendly. It wants to bring the family around. And this is definitely a show you can watch with your entire family. Now it brings me to the point of Geoff Johns. People have said ever since Ray Fisher has come out, and we've heard rumours before of what things were like on set, and Geoff Johns isn't the best person to work with. I think in Green Lantern in 2011 they were writing scripts on the day and he was heavily involved in that. He's a great comic book writer. Green Lantern, Flash, Flashpoint, things like the Stargirl, very, very good stuff. Really, really good stuff. His work on Justice League, absolutely atrocious. Terrible. Ruined the characters, ruined what Zack Snyder was doing. Now, you can be a great comic book writer. You can be a great producer. You can be a great actor, a great comedian, a great plumber. But if you're a shit person, you're a shit person. You could be the greatest writer in the history of the world. But does it give you the right to treat people with disrespect? No. I'm a big believer in respect, in respecting people and showing respect back to people that show you respect. Very much so. And it seems like that Geoff Johns is not a respectful guy. And that's just from what we hear. And even on this show, on Stargirl, he was a showrunner. Maybe he was hard to deal with and stuff, and the show was delayed a bit, and that's why he was delayed. And now Ray Fisher has this investigation against him of what happened on set with Geoff Johns and Jeff Berg. Do I condone anything that Geoff Johns did, even though we don't know exactly what he did? No, it's pretty bad if Geoff Johns is being called out by Ray Fisher and Jason Momoa. So it's bad enough. We just don't know the detail yet. And there's a reason we don't know the detail, because Ray Fisher is building a case. But people say to me, boycott the movies that he's involved with. Boycott the shows. Boycott the comic books. Okay, maybe stuff that he writes. Yeah, you can boycott that. But why would I, a movie fan, a TV fan, a comic book fan, boycott these characters that I want to learn about, that I want to see? You know, there is more than Geoff Johns that works on Wonder Woman 1984. There is more than Geoff Johns who works on Stargirl. You got all the actors who have worked hard to get in the position that they're in, and they're trying to do the best they can. You got the producers that are working on this show. You got the directors. You got some other writers as well. You got the cast and crew. You got the people that give out the food. There's so many people who are connected with high budget movies, with low budget movies, with TV shows, with comic book inspired TV shows. So me boycotting Stargirl because Geoff Johns is involved and he created the character, for me doesn't work. And I'm sorry, and maybe you disagree, maybe you think I'm talking shit here now, but I'm going to go see Wonder Woman 84. Why? Because of Gal Gadot, because of Wonder Woman. That's why I'm going to see the film. I think Patty Jenkins is a very good director. I loved Wonder Woman 1. Why am I going to see Wonder Woman? Because she's involved. Not because Geoff Johns is involved. And I know he was involved. And I know he had some say to do with the film. And he had some say to do with Wonder Woman 1. For me, Wonder Woman 1, that final act, which was supposedly his, was the weakest part of the film. And then the weakest part of Justice League 2017 is the entire film, which is Geoff Johns and Joss Whedon. What do you want me to do? Not go see a movie because he's involved? It's not, I shouldn't have to miss out because he's involved in a project. There are so many other people that work hard to be involved in these properties, to give us something special. And STARGIRL is a very good show. I enjoyed it. I have no problem watching it again. I'd watch season 2. I recommend you to watch it. I think it's very, very good. From all the DC shows that we've seen, my favourites have probably been Swamp Thing, which is peak right now, absolutely brilliant, and STARGIRL would just be behind it. I absolutely loved it. I really did. I loved the characters. I loved what was going on, and I can't wait for season 2. That's it. I can't wait for season 2. And should I boycott because Geoff Johns is involved? I don't think so. Because that matter will handle itself. Ray Fisher has told us not to boycott these things. He has told us he doesn't really need our support, but he appreciates our support. You know, he loves us. We're showing that support back to him because we care and we believe him. But to boycott a project because he's involved, no. I don't know. Like, should I be cancelled, guys, because I'm watching stuff that Geoff Johns has been involved in? I don't know, like, that means if you have any comic books that belong to Geoff Johns, you should go and you burn them then, and anything that he's a producer on, you should go and you should just throw in the trash. It doesn't make sense for me. Maybe I'm seeing this completely wrong, but the logic behind this, it doesn't make sense. You know, it's not like Geoff Johns is the director of this. You know, it's not like he is the man who calls all the shots. He is the showrunner, but he's not the man who creates what's going on screen in terms of the direction, the acting. That has nothing to do with him whatsoever, even though he might try to implement those matters, especially in Justice League 17. Do I condone anything Geoff Johns did? No. Do I even know what Geoff Johns did? We've heard rumours, we've heard talk with no facts yet from Ray Fisher, but there's a reason. I'm not complaining. There's a reason that's happening because Ray Fisher is building his case. But I believe Ray Fisher because he seems like a humble guy. I believe Jason Momoa because, you know, it's Jason Momoa. But I don't condone anything he did, but that's not going to stop me from watching stuff that he's involved in. I can separate the artist from the art from the artist. You know, I can, to a certain degree in some cases, you know. So, for me, STARGIRL was brilliant. I loved it. Absolutely. I loved learning about these characters. I love watching shows about comic book characters that I've never read about. STARGIRL, I wouldn't have a clue. My first exposure to STARGIRL was watching this show. Then I got to learn about the Fiddler and all these characters, the Brainwave, and all these characters I've never heard before. I have got to learn about these characters, what these characters are, by watching this show. That's educational towards me. Martian Manhunter, I haven't a clue what Martian Manhunter. I don't know anything about the character. I can't wait for Zack Snyder's Justice League to learn about it. You know, the same was to be for Aquaman, because I'm not a big comic book reader, guys. I use these TV shows, these movies, to learn about these characters, and that's what I love doing. And I loved learning about STARGIRL, and I enjoy STARGIRL, and I can't wait for season 2. But I don't think I should miss out on watching these good content, these good shows, watching these actors that I admire and like Luke Wilson, because Geoff Johns is involved. I'm not going to let Geoff Johns ruin my entertainment, ruin my time by sitting down and watching these projects. Please let me know your thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I talking shit? I could be talking shit. Let me know. Should I be cancelled for liking Geoff Johns' content? Interesting dilemma, isn't it? Guys, I like STARGIRL. Did you see STARGIRL? Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. I'll watch it again. Season 2. Come on, hurry up. I loved it. And Luke Wilson was probably the best part of the entire series for me. But let me know, guys. I want to hear your thoughts. Come follow me on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, at Movies That Matter with the Viking, and come talk about movies. That's what we love doing. Love doing that stuff and talking about movies with you guys. Don't be afraid to show me a DM. Come on, have some fun. I don't mind. Okay, guys. See ya. STARGIRL was great. It was. It really was great.